This is the beginning of the Diamond Girls. "I've got a surprise for you girls," said Mum. "We're moving." We all stared at her. She was flopping back in her chair, slippered feet propped right up on the kitchen table amongst the cornflake bowls, tummy jutting over her skirt like a giant balloon. She didn't look capable of moving herself as far as the front door. Her scuffed, fluffy mules could barely support her weight. Maybe she needed hot air underneath her, and then she'd rise gently upwards and float out of the open window. "Quit staring at my stomach, Dixie," Mum snapped. "How can she help staring?" said Jude. "It's so gross." "Oh, yuck, it's moving," Rochelle squealed. Mum cradled her tummy, patting the little bulgy bit wriggling about beneath her navel. I hoped it wouldn't wriggle too much. Mum's navel looked ready to pop out like a cork. I used to think that's how babies were born. That was weird enough. The real explanation seems worse. I'm sure I don't want any babies myself, ever. "He's giving me a real old kicking today," Mum said proudly. "Going to be a right little footballer. Aren't you, baby David Beckham?" She hung her head over her swollen tummy as if she was waiting for an answer. "Yes, Mummy," she said in a tiny baby voice. "You're nuts, Mum," said Jude. "You've been a bit bonkers ever since you knew the baby was a boy. What's so special about boys?" Jude threw her arms out wildly, as if she'd like to whack every boy about the head just for being male. "Watch it," said Martine, snatching her cup of tea out of Jude's way. "What are you going on about anyway, Mum? We don't want to move again. We've played musical chairs all round the blooming Bletchworth estate." We started off in South Block. We moved there when a 3-bedroom flat became vacant, but then Mum had a row with the people on our landing. We swapped to the ground floor of North Block, but it was so damp we had rotten colds and coughs all winter, so then we moved up to the top floor. It wasn't a good idea to be right under the roof. Whenever it rained, Jude and I had to squeeze into Mum's room because we had too many leaks coming through our ceiling. The council never came to get it fixed, no matter how many times we phoned. We liked living there, even so. Martine liked living on the top floor because her boyfriend Tony lived right next door in number 113. Martine's the oldest of us Diamond Girls. She's just 16. She says that makes her an adult and she can do whatever she likes. She looks exactly like Mum, but she tries very hard not to. She's got Mum's lovely thick black hair, but Martine dyes hers blonde. Mum likes to wear short skirts, so Martine wears jeans, low slung, so you can see the top of her thong when she bends forwards. Jude liked living on the top floor because she knew how to get through a secret trapdoor onto the roof. She claimed it as her own private territory. Lots of the boys in our block wanted to climb up there too, but Jude wouldn't let them. She can get the better of all the boys, even though she's smallish and only 14. She might be small, but she's squat and very, very tough. Jude looks out for me and squashes people flat if they start teasing me. We're not supposed to have favourites in our family, but if I did have a favourite sister, then it's definitely Jude. Rochelle liked living on the top floor because Martine was round at Tony's so often. She generally had the bedroom to herself. She could prance around pretending to be a pop singer, hairbrush for a mic, watching herself in the wardrobe mirror. She's always watching herself. I suppose I'd want to watch myself if I looked like Rochelle. She's only 12, but she tries to look much older. She's very pretty, with long curly blonde hair and a heart-shaped face and pink pouty lips like one of those love heart sweets. There is absolutely nothing else sweet about her. A lot of the time, I simply can't stick my sister Rochelle. I liked living on the top floor because I could stare out the window and pretend Bluebell and I were flying over the rooftops, high above the tower blocks, over the ocean, all the way across the world to Bluebell's birthplace in Australia. I knew that was where real budgerigars came from. When I made Bluebell talk, she always started off saying, "Good day, Dixie." However, if you were rude enough to look up Bluebell's bottom, she had this little white label saying Made in China. She didn't talk Chinese, but I sometimes fished out leftover cartons of chow mein and chop suey from the dustbins, and Bluebell dug her beak in very happily. I felt for Bluebell up my cardi sleeve. I didn't often walk round with her perched on my finger now, even at home, because everyone acted as if I was a total nutcase. I stuffed her up my sleeve instead, like a little paper hanky. I gave her feathers a secret stroke every now and then. I needed to stroke her now, because Martine and Jude and Rochelle were all shouting, and I knew it bothered her. "We want to stay here, Mum, okay?" said Jude, sticking out her chin. "North Block's much the best. South Block sucks, and Middle Block. North Block's my territory." "I've got my bedroom just the way I like it," said Rochelle. "It's not fair, Mum. You never think about us." "We can't leave this flat. Not now Tony helped to do it up so swish," said Martine. He just helped her paint her and Rochelle's bedroom, but she acted like he did a complete changing rooms. "We'll never get as good a flat, not on this estate." "You're right," said Mum. She eased her legs down onto the floor, rubbing at her big blue veins. Then she sat up as straight as she could and folded her arms across her big bosom. She gave us such a look that we all shut up, even Jude. "We're not getting a better flat on this estate, okay? We're moving, like I said. It's all planned in all my star charts. Every time I read the tarot cards, the Wheel of Fortune comes up, symbolizing a new beginning. We have to act on it. It's like our destiny."